Welcome back to my channel. I am Linda and I am an intuitive healer and an awareness coach. And in this channel, we talk about how to apply spiritual and personal development concepts in a practical way so that you can use them to live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. If you find this content helpful, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And thank you for your support. So this is not something that I ever considered discussing on my YouTube channel or really on any of my social media for that matter. It is a topic that I've thought about a lot for a variety of reasons, but it isn't something that I ever thought I would discuss in a public forum like this. And that is the topic of holding women responsible for the choices and the behaviors of the men that they are attached to. And that often takes the shape or the form of their romantic partner, obviously in heterosexual relationships, but it can also be as it relates to their male children, their father, their brothers, their male friends, etc. And it is something that's been on my mind for quite some time for a variety of reasons. One of them being the development and the popularity of this movement of the manosphere with people like Kevin Samuels and some other YouTubers that talk a lot about men, that talk a lot about women, oftentimes in a very derogatory or, in my opinion, disrespectful way. But it's also come to the forefront for me in a lot of other circumstances. Probably one of the most recent ones was the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, but also when it comes to situations specifically like the situation we had with Will Smith at the Oscars. And I had already done a video about that, given my opinion about the situation with Will in particular. I don't remember even discussing Jada, though I may have, but that wasn't something that was really in my train of thought because I was looking at the behavior and the reaction from Will Smith himself. Now, more recently, over the last few days, I've seen that there's been apparently a resurgence of that topic just because maybe Jada apologized or something like that. I don't even know if it was a clickbait title, but I saw a few videos showing up again, recent videos about the topic. But I also noticed that there is a book coming out that is sort of like a tell-all book about Meghan Markle, I believe is her name, the lady that married Prince Harry. And as I was watching a little clip of that video, or a couple of clips actually, of someone discussing the little bits and pieces of the new book, I couldn't help but notice a theme, which is the same theme that I noticed with the situation with Will Smith, which is that everybody seems to be blaming the women attached to this man, but they don't seem to be holding the men accountable for their choices and the behavior that they are exhibiting. Having said that, I wanted to talk a little bit about this because what I find really interesting about that is in these scenarios, right? I think there is a lot of hatred towards Meghan Markle. And let me first say, before I move forward, let me say, I'm not particularly a fan of either of these women. I am not really someone who follows Hollywood culture. I do consume a lot of YouTube content, so I do know who they are. I definitely know who Jada Pinkett Smith is, just by virtue of my own generation, right? But Meghan Markle, I don't know a lot about her. What little I know is all of the vitriol that I heard sent in her direction when she was marrying Prince Harry and when they, I guess, took a step away from the family, the royal family, etc. So, but I wanted to preface this conversation by saying that I am not a fan of either. I do think Jada Pinkett Smith seems like a very, very intelligent woman, and I have seen her show her Red Table Talk once or twice, and I do think that she makes a lot of really good points, but she's not someone, but I've also thought that she's there's a lot of things that she's said and done that I don't particularly appreciate, like, or respect. I don't want to say approve of, because I'm in no position to be approving of her choices, but yeah, just for the sake of argument, I'll say that I don't particularly agree with. I'll say that. And I don't know really anything about this lady, Meghan Markle, but what little I've seen of her, and again, this is from her public persona. I don't know who she is or how she behaves as a real human, in her real life. But what little I've seen of her is not something that I would particularly want to be associated with. With that said, what I find really troubling is that we are living in a society, even after the Me Too movement and all of these things. And please don't even get me started on that, because I have a lot of thoughts about Me Too. Some that women would like, some that a lot of women will not like. But in any case, even in the aftermath of that, we still are living in a fairly misogynistic society in which women's choices are constantly being examined and questioned and even prohibited in some cases. But also, responsibility of their male counterparts' behaviors is often put on them. I found it quite interesting when looking at this incident at the Oscars that Will Smith is the one who apparently was troubled by what Chris Rock said. And of course, it seemed like Jada was also upset. And maybe, I'm not going to discount that her reaction and maybe their dynamic contributed to him, right, making the choice that he did. However, it was still his choice. He is still a grown man, very grown at that, because I think he's at least 50, if not more. He's also a very intelligent man, a very successful man, a man with a lot of different resources to do healing, to be conscious, to understand his emotions, his process, his wounding, his dynamics, all of those things. And he still chose to go up on that stage and slap Chris Rock across the face in a public forum, arguably the most public forum that there is in the world. But what is troubling about that is that instead of people holding him accountable and saying that was a terrible thing to do, and I know that some people did, but the majority of the people turn on Jada, saying that she's manipulative and that she did this and that he was trying to defend her and that's why, and that what she said after, and I don't know, I guess she made a statement a few days after the incident, and yes, the statement may not have been great. I don't really even remember if I saw it or not, but the point is that she is not the one who made the choice. In fact, she was present and she was arguably the offended party. She could have very easily, if she wanted to, walked up to that stage and slapped Chris Rock herself, but she did not. Will chose to do that. And I find it incredibly troubling that we are putting all of the blame on her. Very similarly, this situation with this lady, Meghan Markle, which everyone talks about like she is the second coming of Lucifer. I mean, what little, I don't know really anything about her. I believe she was in a TV show I never saw and had never even heard of it, so I don't know anything about it. But what I've heard of her is horrifying language to talk about her, to describe her, saying she's evil, she's manipulative, she's all of these nasty things and nasty words that people use to describe her. And by the way, a lot of these are people that don't know anything about her. Now, my disclaimer and what I will say here is the few times that I've seen her in interviews, which has been maybe 2 or 3 times, I do believe that some of her, the way she speaks leads me, someone that is a healer that works a lot with emotional trauma, leads me to believe that she can be a very manipulative person. I don't find her to be genuine. I am not saying that she isn't. I don't know her. but from what little I have seen of her, I don't get the sense that she is a very genuine person. However, that could be said for pretty much anybody and everybody in Hollywood, never mind the royal family. And I find it fascinating, amusing, and disturbing that people put all of the blame on this gentleman's, Harry's separation from the royal family on her. He, again, also a grown man who has grown up in arguably what is the most powerful family of the last, I don't know, whatever, 10 decades. And also in an environment, in a family, and within a political and social environment where not only does he have the most amount of resources that almost anybody could have in this world, but also in an environment with a lot of, well, shady things, for lack of a better word. I mean, that family is wrought with alleged crimes and immoral and troubling behavior. And I say alleged because, again, I don't know them and I don't know what is fact or what isn't. So even if the family is completely innocent of everything that has been claimed of them, just by virtue of him growing up in that environment, he's seen a lot of things. And I am very sure that he's experienced a lot of powerful people trying to manipulate him from a very young age. I mean, a lot of these people, well, actually most, if not all of these people in the royal families, get, media training, all of these things. So this is not the naive, 6-year-old boy that we saw at Princess Di's funeral procession, right? And I wonder if what happens is that people have that little image of him, which I have engraved in my brain as well. And I wonder if that is contributing to seeing him as this innocent person who's being totally and completely manipulated by this evil witch. There's other choice words that people use, but I can't say those on YouTube. I mean, I can, but this video would probably get deleted. But, right, this little innocent young boy being manipulated by this evil witch. And that's just not how I see it. And quite frankly, I don't think that is the reality of things. Is she a manipulative woman? Possibly. In fact, in my humble, alleged, and uninformed opinion, yes, she does seem like someone who is incredibly disingenuous and potentially very manipulative. And I say that as someone who has been known to be quite manipulative in the past, right? I do find that those things are true. However, this is a grown man with a lot of resources and a lot of power. And I think the points that some people have made about their wounding and how wounding and attachment styles work may be true, right? She may be providing him with something that he's always needed, and that creates a very deep attachment and bond that allows the person to be manipulated, right? But at the end of the day, we are all at choice. We all have free will, and our behavior is our responsibility. And I find it incredibly misogynistic that we are blaming these women for the choices and the actions of these men. Now, granted, these women may be to blame for the fact that they may, in fact, be choosing to manipulate this man or using their own wounding as leverage, right, to get what they want in life. But the reality of being human is that most of us do that on a pretty regular basis, whether we're conscious of it or not. And some of us do it with, ill intentions, and some of us don't. But ultimately, at the end of the day, manipulation is always about trying to get your needs met. And I actually have another video on my channel where I talk about that. But it is about trying to get your needs met, sometimes overtly, sometimes covertly. So if we're going to show some grace to this man because these women are manipulating them, through their wounding, then we also then be showing these women some grace, because their wounding is in fact what is driving them to manipulate. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. And I do believe the reason why we tend to put all of the blame on these women, or most of the blame on these women, without showing them the grace that we show the male who actually commits the act, is rooted in misogyny. And it dates back right to Genesis, right to the Bible, where Eve tempted Adam with the apple. He still took a bite of the apple. Like, why are we blaming her, or exclusively her, right? And I think it comes from this idea that women have to be controlled, right? Because they are afraid of women's power. Now, I'm not saying that women are more powerful than men. I am saying that we are equally as powerful as men in very different ways. So, what I would encourage us to do as conscious people, right, as people who are on this healing journey, on this healing path, trying to become more conscious, trying to become more aware, trying to really deeply connect with our spirituality, with nature, with, you know, the world as a whole, is to really examine our assumptions and our perspectives and our opinions, but especially about other people. And for those of us who are cis women, about other women in this world. Why do we feel and think about other women the way we do? I do think it's really important for all of us, but especially for us women, to show some grace to other women, but also, and more importantly, stop participating in the misogyny that is perpetuated towards women in our society on a daily basis. As always, thank you so much for your time, and until next time, this is Linda Feliciano. Namaste.